the multi-vendor solution, apart from being hard and complicated and cumbersome and a pain in the ass to set up, it's really expensive.
G'day, Nexters. Welcome to Next Pod in Australia, special edition from Australia. And I'm here with Matt Cable from Win TV. Hello, Matt.
Hello, Adam.
Nice to see you.
Pleasure to have you.
We're down in Australia doing the installation here, so I thought I'd take the opportunity to grab a quick podcast episode with Matt. Matt, can you tell us a little bit about Win TV and the history of Win TV, like a potted history of the company?
Sure. Win is one of the oldest stations in Australia. It's actually our studio here was the first TV station in Australia to go colour TV, which was a milestone. So it's been around for a long time. It used to be owned by Rupert Murdoch in the early days, and it was sold to our owner, Bruce Gordon, who owns it now, who owns the whole network. It's the largest regional network in Australia, so it covers geographically most of the country, which is bigger than any other network in Australia. So excepting the capital cities, Win is your representation for news around the country.
So how many episodes of news do you put out across each of those regions? And do you do that every single day?
So we do Monday to Friday, we do 16 news bulletins every day, half-hour bulletins out of these studios here in Wollongong. So this is like the mothership for the network. All of the outlying stations from Tasmania all the way up to Cairns in far north Queensland, which is like traversing the entirety of Europe pretty much geographically, shoot, edit and submit their stories by file transfer here to us in Wollongong, and all of our studios here do all the hostings for all of those news bulletins, and we punch out 16 news bulletins simultaneously at 5:30 every afternoon, weekdays, Monday to Friday.
That's amazing. So could you briefly describe like what the scope was for the implementation of the nxtedition system into Win TV that we're doing at the moment?
So the driving force behind us going to Next is that we've been doing these lots of bulletins for quite a while now, for 10 years. Our system that currently manages that is aging, it's end of life. There's a lot of equipment that's unsupported. There's a lot of single points of failure in it that apart from being old and complicated, it's running on a knife's edge technically. And any one of those things, if it blows up, can't be fixed or repaired and takes us out. So we needed to search for a new solution. And we thought, what better timing than to look for something that made our life easier at the same time as what we currently do. We still have to do the same amount of workload, but we want to be able to do it smarter. We want to be able to do it easier. And we want to be able to do it more cost effectively. And that's what led us to Next.
And it's interesting because like in the machine room, in the control room there's a lot of legacy equipment and a lot of racks. And now what we've installed there is 4 racks, right? So we're getting rid of how many racks worth of equipment?
So we've got 4 operational studios here, and each of those studios occupied 4 or 5 racks worth of equipment for each studio. So we're looking at 16, 17, 18 racks worth of gear that we currently run in our existing system. And we've migrated that all into 4 racks to take care of the whole shebang with the next setup. So all of those 16 or 17 racks will go and be replaced by 4.
I mean, that must have like a massive ramification in terms of power and usage and stuff like that as well, and maintenance.
It certainly does. I haven't done the numbers, but I know that there's quite a significant saving in power consumption that we'll go through just by being able to switch off all that legacy gear. So that's great too.
That is really cool. I really like that. It's an unexpected consequence in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So
win.
You're win-win. Very nice. So you're moving to this kind of story-centric workflow. How there's a lot of change management around that. There's the interesting thing, I think, to a lot of the viewers is that, you know, people approaching a project like this, it's the change management side of things that's really frightening for them actually, because people don't really, well, it's not that they don't like change, but it's very unsettling to go through that process. And you're really at the beginning of that process now. How have you found that and how is it going?
I think it's been good. Most of the departments and the people that are affected by the change have been open to looking into the new technology, and we've done enough research in it for them to be able to understand that we're looking after their best interests. And I think they trust us to a degree that if we say that it's going to be better for them in the long run, then it will be. The transition always is hard. There's always a steep learning curve for people to get into a new system, and it's always going to be a bit of a hurdle to get over, but they're open to the change. So we're optimistic that they'll take that in their stride and move into the new system easily. Like, we've been running EMPS forever. We've got, a couple of decades worth of archives in EMPS, and that's what our news systems run on, and that's been the backbone of it for years. But it's going to be replaced by Next, and we're confident that Next is going to be better than what that does, and it's going to save us a hell of a lot of cash too. So that and all the other bits and pieces, like our current system, we call it a bit of a Frankenstein machine, right? So it's got pieces from Grass Valley, it's got pieces from Pebble Beach, it's got pieces from EMPS, it's got pieces from TD or from Spain. It's like everything is bolted on, and it's all magically bolted together with chewing gum and string, and it works luckily, and we baby it through its existence to make sure that it keeps functioning to keep us on air. But it's a challenge, and it's old, and with having so many vendors that supply so many bits of gear, there's support costs that go with all of those pieces of equipment as well that we've got to keep it up if it's supported, which some of it's not now. So we're running on hopes and dreams that it'll keep going until we get Next fired up and take it over entirely, and we can switch all of those racks off. But it's a big undertaking, and we're not under any illusion that it's not going to be a steep learning curve, but I think we're ready for it. So
it's interesting because actually what you've kind of in the past always run with this kind of best of breed solution, which seems to be the industry standard. And what you're really saying there is that all that glue holding everything together is problematic.
Yeah.
So what was it that made you decide to take a consolidated approach like nxtedition? Because one of the things that we come across a lot, and I'm going to be honest here and say it out loud, is that, it's a single vendor solution. And nobody wants a single vendor solution, yet you've chosen a single vendor solution.
Yeah.
What's the reasoning behind that?
I think the reasoning behind most of things these days comes down to cost. The multi-vendor solution, apart from being hard and complicated and cumbersome and a pain in the ass to set up, it's really expensive as well. So you factor in all of those things that you need to buy to build a new Frankenstein, which is hard, and I don't want to do it, but it's it could be 8-10 times the cost of what we're going to spend to set up the new solution that Next is the backbone of. So there's still other pieces of equipment that Next is going to interact with and drive, but the core of the system, the newsroom management, the editing, the graphics, the story, the studio workflows, the studio control systems, all being in with that one solution, it's just a massive tick for us. It's just less that we have to support, and it's a lot less cost. So win-win.
Win-win. All right, so kind of just to wrap things up, what has surprised you on this installation and along this journey? Has there been some surprises that you've come across, things that you weren't expecting to find, unexpected benefits, unexpected consequences? I don't know, you can be honest with me, it's fine.
I don't think it's as surprising, because when we came over and we visited you guys at Next Days, we got a good impression about the flexibility and the amount of work that Next is willing to do to accommodate our requests and to tailor things for us, because we're not under any illusions that the system that we've created and the monster that we currently drive is pretty unique. It's not really done, certainly not done by anyone else in Australia, and it's probably not been tackled by anyone else in the world really, to do that much work over that many bulletins spread out over such geographical area. Like, even from here in our studios here to our playout centre, who plays us to air every night, that's 100 kilometres away in the west of Sydney, and the furthest of our reaches for our bulletins where they come from is 3,000 kilometres away. So it's a massive spread, and it's something that takes a great deal of effort. And what we were surprised about most with Next is that we could dream up those things that were traditionally really hard for us to do and say, geez, it'd be great if you could do that. And we know that it's not really in anyone's wheelhouse because it's unique to us. And Next would sit there, and your guys in Sweden would sit there and go, okay, I think I get it. I get what you want. It doesn't do it now because no one's ever asked us to do that before, but give us a couple of days and let us come back to it with you. And miraculously, they go, try now. And yeah, that's it. That's what we wanted.
Responsiveness of an agile team.
Yeah. And it's so willing to take on a new concept and go, yeah, that's a little bit of coding and that's a little bit of work, but I think that's something that's achievable for us. So give us a little bit of time and we'll tackle it. And to date, it's everything we're sort of dreaming up is coming to reality. So we're thankful for that. So thank you.
You're welcome.
It's going to make our life easier for us.
Thank you for inviting me to Australia.
Yeah, no, it's a pleasure to have you. It's a long way to come, I know. So thank you for coming all the way out here.
Okay, so the last question that I ask everybody on this podcast is, what is the best piece of advice, be it either work advice or personal advice, that anyone has ever given you in your life?
Ooh.
I like this.
That's a hard one.
It is.
Don't
touch that.
Yeah, don't press the red button. I've been accused of being a bit of a tamperer with things. So the engineering departments haven't always liked me as the person that's in charge of operations and all that sort of stuff, because if things don't happen quick enough, I'm kind of quick to jump in and tinker with things myself and make it work. So I think that should work. I'll give it a go. So I'm a bit of a menace to the engineering team. So I've tried not to do that to you guys while you're here. Well, I don't have the skills to code. So you're probably lucky there. But I think it's just be passionate about what you do and love what you do. And if you give it your attention, it'll all work out. So it's just about making things as good as you can get it within the constraints of your budget, of course. And with what Next has given us, it's brought it down to within an achievable budget that we could convince our CEO and our CFO on signing off on, which is going to make our life easier moving into the future. So the alternative was much bigger, much more expensive and much more complicated. And quite honestly, it probably may not have even happened if I went up there to the CFO and said, can I have this amount of money to do what we're going to do now with the alternatives? I think the answer probably might have been no. So
that's the best piece of advice. Buy nxtedition.
Boom.
Boom.
There you go.
Thanks, man.
Pleasure.
High five.